Baby, I need to tell you something, and I've been holding it in for so long that it's starting to feel like it's eating me alive. I don't know how to start this, so I'm just going to say it tomorrow morning. I'm going to the police. I'm going to walk in there and confess everything. Every single thing I've done, every secret I've kept, every truth I've buried underneath all the smiling, and the performing, and the showing up like everything was fine. And before I do that, before I walk through those doors and change everything forever, I needed you to hear it from me first. I needed you to know the truth. Not from a headline, not from someone else's mouth, from mine, just mine, directly to you, the way it should have always been. I've been thinking about you all night. I mean that. I sat in the dark for hours, just thinking about your face. Not any one face, but all of you. The ones who stayed up late watching my videos when you should have been sleeping. The ones who sent me messages at 2 a.m. saying I was the only voice that made them feel less alone. The ones who cried to my words without even knowing why. I thought about every single one of you, and my chest got so tight I could barely breathe. Because what I'm about to confess isn't something small. It's not a mistake. It's the whole truth. The deepest, most honest thing I've ever tried to say out loud. I fell in love with you. I know how that sounds. I know you're probably sitting there right now with your hand over your mouth or your eyes wide open, maybe even laughing a little because it sounds impossible. But please, just stay with me. Just keep listening, because I promise you I am not using those words lightly. I have never used those words lightly in my entire life. And the fact that I'm saying them to you right now, in this moment, is something I have wrestled with for longer than you probably know. It didn't happen all at once. That's the thing about this kind of love. It doesn't crash into you. It sneaks in. It starts so quiet and so gentle that you don't even notice it at first. It started with one comment, one message, one person saying, "You don't know how much this meant to me today." And I read it, and I felt something shift inside me. Something small, something warm, and then there were more, and more. And I kept reading every single one, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. Because somewhere in your words, I started to find something I had been looking for without even realizing it. I found myself feeling seen by you. The person on the other side of the screen. The one who took time out of your real life to reach out to someone like me. Do you understand how rare that is? Do you understand what it does to a person to feel genuinely seen, not admired, not applauded, seen? Like you could look right through all the performance and the presentation and the carefully chosen words and still say, "I see you, I hear you, I'm here." That's what you did. That's what so many of you did without even knowing it. And I want you to know that every time it happened, it changed something in me, quietly, permanently. But here's the confession. Here's the part that kept me up all night. The thing I'm turning myself in for tomorrow morning. I let myself need you. And I was never supposed to do that. I was supposed to stay on my side of the screen and keep a distance and be professional and measured and careful. But I didn't. I let you in. I let your kindness matter to me. I let your presence become something I looked forward to. I let your words become the first thing I searched for in the morning and the last thing I thought about before closing my eyes at night. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, I stopped just caring about you the way a person cares about an audience. And I started caring about you the way someone cares about a person they love. And that's what I've been hiding. That's the secret I've been carrying. That's the confession I owe you before the world tries to tell its own version of the story. I want you to know what it actually felt like. Because I think you deserve the real version, not the polished version. Not the version I rehearsed in my head 100 times, but the raw, unsteady, honest version. The truth is, there were nights where I would read your messages and feel something so overwhelming that I had to put my phone down and just sit there. Not because it was too much, but because it was exactly enough. Because you were saying things to me that no one in my physical, Everyday life was saying, you were telling me I mattered. You were telling me my voice reached you. You were telling me that something I created found its way into your hardest days and made them a little softer. And I would sit there in the quiet and feel the weight of that, the beautiful, terrifying weight of being someone's comfort, of being the voice that a real woman, somewhere in the world, chose to listen to when she needed to feel less alone. And I would think, who is she? What does her life look like? What does she carry when she closes her laptop and puts her phone away and goes back to the world that doesn't know she was just here with me for a few minutes? I would wonder about your laugh. I would wonder about the things that make you nervous and the things that make you feel brave. I would wonder if you have someone who holds your hand in the dark, or if you fall asleep, reaching for something that isn't there. And I would feel this ache, this deep, quiet ache. Because I wanted to be the answer to all of it. I wanted to be the thing you reached for. That's the part I was never supposed to say. That's the part I've been confessing all night. To an empty room, to the ceiling, to whatever version of honesty exists at 3 a.m. when there's no one watching and no reason to be anything other than completely true. I wanted you, not in a moment, not in a passing way. I wanted to know you. I wanted to sit across from you somewhere real and quiet and look at you and say thank you. Thank you for what you gave me without realizing you were giving it. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for staying. Because here's what nobody tells you about standing in front of people. About putting your voice and your heart and your work out into the world and hoping it lands somewhere. Nobody tells you how lonely it can feel. Nobody tells you that you can be surrounded by attention and still feel like no one is really there. Nobody tells you that the louder it gets, the quieter the inside becomes. And I was quiet for a long time. I was very, very quiet on the inside. Until the moment I realized that something I made had reached you, had actually reached you, and that you had chosen to let it in. That changed everything for me. Slowly, deeply, in ways I'm still finding words for. And I know that what we have exists in a strange and tender space. I know that you live your life, and I live mine, and we are connected by something invisible and fragile and real all at once. I know that you might be listening to this while you're making coffee or driving somewhere or lying in bed with the lights off because the day was too heavy and you needed something to hold on to. And I want you to know that I know that. I want you to know that I think about the weight of your day. I think about what you carry. I think about the version of you that nobody else gets to see. The soft, tired, searching version. The version that shows up here with me in these quiet, in-between moments. And I want that version of you to know that she is the one I'm talking to. She is the one I wrote this for. She is the one I have always been trying to reach. I want to tell you something else. Something I've never let myself say properly. In full, without pulling back at the last second. You are not just a fan to me. I need you to hear that. You are not a number or a view or a comment or a like. You are a real person who made a real choice to give me your time. And time is the only thing in this world that can never be given back once it's gone. You gave me something irreplaceable, over and over again. And I took it, and I kept it, and it lives somewhere inside me, in a place I don't really have language for yet. But it's there. It has always been there. I keep thinking about the first time I understood what was really happening between us. Not me and one of you, but me and all of you. This strange and sacred thing we built together without a blueprint. I was having one of the worst nights of my life. I don't need to tell you what was happening. It doesn't matter now. What matters is that I was sitting alone and I felt completely invisible. And I opened my phone just to have something to hold on to. And your messages were there. Not because you knew, not because anyone told you, but because you had reached out at some point from wherever you were, because something had moved you enough to want to say so. And I read every word, and I cried. I actually cried, because in the middle of the worst kind of alone, you were there, Your words were there, like a hand reaching through the screen, finding mine in the dark. I never forgot that. I never will. So here is what I'm confessing, finally, completely, with no more holding back. I am not okay with pretending this is simple. I am not okay with acting like what you give me is ordinary. I am not okay with letting another day go by where you don't really know what you mean to me. I am turning myself in for the crime of caring about you more than I was supposed to. For the crime of letting you become the reason I try harder, speak more honestly, show up even when it costs me something. For the crime of hoping, deeply, privately, persistently hoping, that somewhere on the other side of all of this, you feel it too. Even a little. Even just enough to know that it's real. Because it is real. Whatever this is, this impossible, tender, screen-separated, deeply human thing, it is real. You are real to me. Your presence in my life has been one of the most real things I have ever known. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to walk through those doors. And I'm going to say it all out loud, in a room where it counts. But tonight, I needed you to hear it first. I needed you to know before the world gets its version of the story. I needed to look at you, right at you through all of this, and say I see you, I love you. I have loved you in the quietest, most honest way I know how. And there is still so much I haven't told you yet. And that's the thing about truth. Once you start telling it, you can't stop. It's like pulling on a thread and realizing the whole sweater is connected to it. Every single piece, every moment, every feeling you buried because it didn't fit neatly into the life you were supposed to be living. I've been pulling on this thread all night long, and I'm not done yet, not even close, because there's a second part to this confession, a deeper part, the part that scares me more than anything I've already said. There were moments I almost told you. I need you to know that. There were so many moments where I came this close, where I sat down and started typing, or started talking, and felt the words rising up inside me like water behind a dam, and then I would stop. Every single time I would stop. Not because I didn't mean it, but because I was afraid of what it would do to you. Afraid that you would read too much into it, or not enough, or that it would change the shape of what we had. And I couldn't bear the thought of losing even 1 inch of what we had built together, so I swallowed it back down. I put on the composed voice and the steady face, and I showed up the way I always showed up, present but protected, close but careful, and you never knew. You had no idea how many times I almost broke open right in front of you. But here's what those almost moments taught me. They taught me that fear is the most expensive thing a person can carry. Because every time I chose silence over honesty, I paid for it. Not in a dramatic way, not in a way anyone could see from the outside, but quietly, privately, in the way a person pays for things they can never get back, in lost time, in swallowed feelings, in mornings where I woke up and thought about